The most common car accident injury that you see is going to be a neck sprain, back sprain. We see a lot of shoulder injuries. It can be the restrained shoulder, it can be the free shoulder that is unrestrained. We see knee injuries, they hit the underside of the dash. We see facial trauma from hitting the airbag or the steering wheel. There's a lot of head injuries from the forward and backward motion into the seat back, or if you get hit on the side, you hit your head on the side window. We see broken wrists. More and more we're seeing carpal tunnel. So, in that order, we see those injuries, but the injury profiles vary wildly. Typically, when you have a car accident, I encourage people to call the police to make an accident report. If it's a significant crash, if it's just a fender bender type thing and no one's injured, you can just exchange information and move on. But the police will come. You want to make sure that you get interviewed, because if you're not interviewed by the officer, your version of the story doesn't go in. I would encourage people to take pictures at the scene, and soon after, go take pictures of the vehicle damage if it gets towed away. You want to get witness information, right? You want to be able to identify the witnesses and contact them at some later date. If you're injured, even if you're not sure about the severity of your injury, say you don't need an ambulance transport, you should get medical treatment within 24 to 48 hours to document that injury, get proper medical care and attention. And then I encourage people to call a lawyer, and call fast. It's a free experience. There's no expense associated with calling a lawyer, getting a consultation, and you get an advocate, a legal advocate who knows the terrain. It depends on which insurance company you're talking about, whether it's your insurance company or the other driver. But typically what the insurance companies are doing initially is assessing the severity of loss. That includes the vehicle damage and the injury profile. Why? Because they got to start setting what we call reserves. They got to start setting money aside to pay those claims. Again, property damage and bodily injury claims. And so they do what everyone else wants to do. They interview both their insured and anyone else who will talk to them. They try to acquire the accident report, and they will send out adjusters to speak to people and also document the vehicle damage. I encourage people, do not talk to the other driver's insurance company. I think that that's a very bad idea. You can talk to your own insurance company. In fact, you're obligated to make the claim and to provide as much information as may be necessary under the situation. But that's typically how insurance companies approach vehicle car accident losses. So I think some of the common mistakes that people make after getting in car accidents are: 1, talking to the other driver's insurance company. 2, they don't document the vehicle damage or the situation at the scene. I think it's always a good idea to take some pictures or video. The third common mistake that people make is hoping that their injury will resolve in a day or two, and then it doesn't. So now they have this gap in treatment, which is never good. So I encourage people, if you are uncertain about whether or not you're injured, then go talk to a medical professional. The fourth common mistake that people make is not calling a lawyer until many days beyond the accident. I think it's a good idea for people to get a lawyer very soon after the accident happens. There's no expense associated with hiring a lawyer, at least not out of pocket, and you have a legal advocate, a legal representative to help you through that process. Those are the 4 common mistakes that people make after car accidents. There is a statute of limitations associated with all car accidents. Your traditional car accident involving 2 vehicles has a statute of limitations of 3 years. Now that assumes that it's 2 private citizens. It also assumes that there are no children or disabled people involved in that crash. If there's a disabled person or a child, their statute of limitations could be tolled beyond 3 years. If the car accident involves a municipal vehicle, say a police car or a bus, Then the statute of limitations is shorter, and here in New York, it's gonna be a year and 90 days, and you'll also be obligated to file a 90-day notice of claim. There are also car accidents that occur due to road defects. That again involves a municipality, so there are going to be tighter time restrictions on when you can file those claims. And that is another reason why I encourage people, call a lawyer after the accident, get that free advice so that you know what legal complications and hurdles rest ahead. So there is a cost to hiring a lawyer, but there's no upfront or out-of-pocket cost. And that's something that is very important for people to understand. If you're injured in a car accident, you should call a lawyer. You will get a free consultation, and if the lawyer decides to take your case, there's no out-of-pocket expense. You don't pay the lawyer unless the lawyer wins, unless the lawyer recovers money for you. If the lawyer does not recover money for their client, they don't get paid, and they know that, and that's just part of the arrangement. Now, if they do recover money for the client, the lawyer is entitled to a legal fee that represents 1/3 of the gross recovery, or 33.33%, and that's called a contingent legal fee, again, meaning that the lawyer doesn't get paid unless the client gets paid. And by the way, that's New York State. Most other states have similar arrangements where the lawyers work on a contingent legal fee basis. However, other states may give a greater or less fee. In some states, it goes as high as 40%. If you're injured in a car accident here in New York, the car insurance company will pay for the medical bills. This is called no-fault insurance, and it's kind of crazy, but even if you're the person who causes the accident, you're still entitled to no-fault insurance benefits. And the other crazy thing is, if you're not the person who caused the accident, you're the victim, your car insurance company pays the no-fault insurance benefits. No-fault will provide coverage for your basic economic losses, including medical bills, lost wages if you have any, and reasonable expenses such as mileage to and from your medical appointments. No-fault is designed to protect people from falling into financial hardship if they have a car accident. If you're involved in a single vehicle accident, let's say you hit a deer or slip on ice and your car goes off the road, you're still entitled to no-fault insurance benefits. Again, no-fault is designed to protect people from financial hardship. You get coverage for medical bills, lost wages, and mileage to and from your medical appointments.